Tonight on CTV, multiple car accidents leave people hospitalized.
And how can homeowners save money off their water bill? Find out more tonight on CTV starting right now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Mattison Brumagim.
And I'm Gavin Wolf, filling in for JJ McKinney. Thank you for joining us tonight.
Fort Collins resident Jance Varela has been missing for the past 4 months. He was last seen in Fort Collins on June 1st. I spoke with his mother, Linda, and she shared with me that Varela was diagnosed with a brain tumor back in May. Varela was very active on social media and his accounts have not had any activity since the time of his disappearance.
No one has seen him, but so just if someone would see him and tell him to call his mom.
Varela is a 40-year-old male. He is 6'4" and he has hazel brown eyes. Justice Takes Flight, a group of volunteers that help the missing, will be doing a canvassing search for this Saturday morning at 9. If you are interested in volunteering, the search will take place at Gustav Swanson Natural Area right here in Fort Collins.
Now let's head over to weather with Adam Carlson and see if these cool temperatures will last us into the weekend. Adam?
Thanks, Gavin. So looking at tonight's current conditions, we're going to see it's mostly cloudy out, and then we're going to see a temperature of 72 degrees, keeping us nice and warm as we go into these nights. Humidity of 39% and 6 miles per hour wind. Sun just went down a bit earlier tonight, 6:45. Looking at the weather throughout the day, we're going to see that people are still out enjoying the nice, cooler temperatures, but those storm clouds are starting to form. Which are kind of ominous, and that wind is starting to get blowing, showing us that it's truly fall. Now looking at the overnight lows, we're going to see that down this I-25 corridor, we're all in that mid-50 area. Heading over to the east, we're going to see that Sterling and Limon are high 40s, and Burlington and Lamar both 53. Looking at the mountains, we're going to see Craig is at a nice 47, and then Vale and Telluride in those mid-40s, Gunnison, Alamosa mid-30s, and Grand Junction hitting 58. For tomorrow's highs, we're going to see down the I-25 corridor once again that we have high 70s and 86 in Pueblo. Looking at the eastern plain, we're going to see generally in the 80s, Burlington hitting a high 88 and 91 in Lamar. Looking over at the mountains, we're going to see Craig at 66 and Vale and Gunnison 62 and 67 respectively, Telluride at 58, and Alamosa and Grand Junction both at a 74. Tomorrow's conditions, we're going to be looking at thunderstorms with a high of 76 and a low of 50, so make sure to get those umbrellas out. Looking at the 5-day forecast, we're going to see that it is mostly cloudy this week. Monday hitting us with some rain, Tuesday, Wednesday at a nice 67 with a low of 44 and 45. Thursday's your only day for the sun, so take it while it lasts. And Friday's going to hit us with a 69 and a low of 44. Back to you, Mattison.
Thanks, Adam. A 17-year-old pedestrian was a victim of a hit-and-run early Monday morning. According to a Facebook post in a Fort Collins neighborhood watch group posted by the victim's father, the teenager was walking to school around 7:30, utilizing the light-up crosswalk just west of the King Soopers off of Taft Hill and Elizabeth. While he was on the crosswalk, a dark blue mid-size SUV hit the teen. The driver stopped briefly but ended up driving away and fleeing the scene. The victim described the driver as a female around the age of 20, blonde hair, and was wearing sunglasses. He also believes the SUV had stickers on the rear passenger side window. The victim was transported to the hospital, but it is reported that he was scraped up and did not sustain life-threatening injuries. A report was filed, but there is not any additional information on the status of the investigation.
that's not the only driving incident that took place this past week. An elderly person was cited with careless driving, resulting in bodily injury after crashing into Venus Nail Salon Friday morning. Fort Collins police officer Brandon Barnes said the driver accidentally drove their Hyundai SUV into the nail salon located off of South LeMay Avenue. The SUV drove fully into the nail salon. As a result, one of the employees was transferred to the hospital with leg injuries. Venus Nail Salon will remain closed until the building is inspected for structural damage and the salon is cleared to reopen.
A motorcyclist died from a crash that happened at the intersection of East Mulberry and Peterson Street on Monday afternoon. According to Fort Collins Police Services, the crash occurred between the motorcycle rider and a GMC. The investigation concluded that the GMC stopped at a stop sign before proceeding into the intersection when the crash took place. When officers arrived on the scene, the motorcyclist sustained life-threatening injuries from the crash and was later pronounced deceased. The crash on Monday is the second fatal accident involving a motorcycle rider in the past 2 weeks. Both riders were not wearing helmets. Tune in next week for a more in-depth look on helmet safety here in Fort Collins.
Roughly 38% of college students suffer from food insecurity. If you're struggling to find out where your next meal is coming from, you are not alone.
Live reporter Abby Flores has more on resources available for students at CSU. Abby?
Thanks, guys. Rams Against Hunger opened up a new food pantry last January, but some students tend to shy away from the resource due to social stigma. Last week, I decided to visit the pantry to get deeper insight on the positive impacts it has on the CSU community.
Go to the Irish pub.
Ever since the COVID-19 pandemic, Rams Against Hunger has been helping relieve food insecurity on campus. The new location at the General Services Building, however, hasn't been getting many visitors. There seems to be a stigma utilizing this resource, even though all Rams are welcome.
We chose this location, or rather it chose us, because real estate is difficult here on campus. There's no mystery about that. But this came open and we recognized that its proximity to the Max line, so that was one good thing. And also, it's still on the beaten path per se.
Partnered with the Food Bank of Larimer County, fresh produce and snacks are made available on shelves, and the staff truly know how to make everyone feel welcomed.
We try to foster an environment here at the pantry that sort of takes away any pressures to do anything, any pressures to act anyway. We get a new delivery, a couple new deliveries every week, so we're always in stock of something.
As a nation, we actually dispose of 40% of the food we produce. So that is 40% food waste. And if that is what helps a student, a staff, a faculty feel better about utilizing this resource, great.
For anyone who's cautious about coming in or shy or nervous about it, don't be, because you're not alone and it's not a shameful thing at all.
Food insecurity is more common among college students than we realize. Spaces like these can encourage students to ask for help. Back to you, Mattison.
Thanks, Abby. Are you someone who struggles with figuring out how you're going to get to Denver International Airport for your next flight? Well, Fort Collins has opened up options for you no matter the airline.
Landline is unique because a lot of people think we're just an airport shuttle or a bus, and that's not what we do. It's really an extension of the airlines themselves. During the pandemic, travel wasn't happening as much, and so a lot of major airlines decreased their staffing. And now, with travel ramping back up again, they're struggling. And so those smaller legs aren't being serviced anymore. But we are coming in and we're stepping in and we're providing that service. We just opened it up so all airline passengers can ride us, kind of like that shuttle down to the airport, on a luxury motor coach. So it's $29 for adults or $10 for kids. It has a bathroom on board. All our seats are leather They recline further than airline seats recline too. They have in-seat power and free entertainment and Wi-Fi on board. If you're a United passenger, we actually have a partnership with them. You can book your flight as if you were booking from Fort Collins Airport rather than the Denver airport. We moved our headquarters to Colorado. We started in Minnesota and we moved out here because we were passionate about making this market work. It makes travel more convenient. So instead of spending an hour and a half in traffic by yourself, get your time back with that free Wi-Fi and entertainment, and we take the toll roads. So we get you there quicker than a lot of people can drive themselves, or they pay an arm and a leg to drive themselves.
Until November 3rd, Landline is running a special for the transportation fare to be only $3 for the first 3 people who book on a segment.
Don't go away just yet.
After the break, see how one march helped spread awareness for ALS.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy. Ugh, my bad. Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
An annual citywide pledge to help save water is taking place for Fort Collins residents this month. The Shift Your Water campaign prompts residents to turn off sprinkler systems by October 1st to save money and water. On average, the community uses around 15 million gallons of water per day during the winter months. And last year, the campaign saved nearly 2 million gallons of water. The pledge is directed toward homeowners, but renters can also do their part. Limiting shower time to 5 minutes, only washing full loads of laundry or dishes, and turning off the faucet while not in use are also effective ways to save water. The city encourages eligible residents to turn off sprinkler systems by October 1st for a chance to win $50 off their water bill. Residents can take the pledge at the Fort Collins City website. Another pledge that people have been taking to raise awareness for ALS and finding a cure. CTV reporter Zoe Hayman has more. Zoe?
Thanks, Gavin. The Rocky Mountain chapter of the ALS Association had its annual walk at City Park this past weekend to spread awareness about the disease.
We are holding our annual Walk to Defeat ALS up here in Fort Collins at City Park to raise awareness for people who are living with ALS and to help support and advocate for all the families living with the disease.
The Rocky Mountain chapter of the ALS Association focuses on supporting those with the disease. Events contributing to the movement are taking place year-round.
Yes, we're advocating, we're having events all throughout the year. So the second weekend of October, we have the Denver ALS Walk. And then earlier in the year, in May, we have the Colorado Springs Walk. So we're really trying to target, all of our Rocky Mountain chapter. We serve Colorado, Wyoming, and Utah.
Whether it's through research, donations, or events like this, the ALS Association has dedicated their lives to fighting this disease and helping those who it affects.
People take for granted that they can hold their phones, that they can talk, that they can tell their children that they love them, that they have the voice to do so. If you go on to alsaco.org, you will come right to our chapter and you can reach out to us anytime.
Visit alsaco.org if you need information about upcoming events or ways to donate. Back to you, Gavin.
Thanks, Zoe. The city of Fort Collins has a personality of its own, but a recent project is here to give our city buildings a little makeover. And if you participated in the ALS March, you may have noticed it. Earlier this semester, Oleo Lighting Solutions completed installs on 5 buildings, including City Hall and the police station. These new lights are designed to stay up and lit year-round, saving the city time and money allotted to hanging holiday lights each year. According to North 40 News, Oleo owner Ron Weinmeister said, "It means a lot to us that the city of Fort Collins recognized the importance of selecting and supporting a local company. The system is designed to produce 22 years worth of lighting, which will allow city buildings to have festive hues of color for all occasions all year round." I don't know about you, but I love LED lights. I know I had some in my dorm room.
I had some too, but I actually had a lot of posters, ironically. Kate Sherman has more on how some posters are more than meets the eye. Kate?
I went to the 22nd Biennial Colorado International Invitational Poster Exhibition, or the CIIPE, in the Visual Arts Building here at CSU. CIIPE is one of the few international poster exhibits in the world. This exhibit was founded in 1979 and has been going on ever since. The main attraction this year was Apex Lin, a Taiwanese designer. He is responsible for some of the visual identities of some of China's largest companies. The exhibit also included work from the co-founder of the poster exhibition. He showed designs he had done for CSU's American West program. This program has focused on the American West culture and history for nearly 50 years.
I really love this poster exhibit. Posters, I think, are a underrepresented media form, kind of, in the sense that, like, I feel like it's not as recognized as, like, a really awesome art form as, say, like, painting and sculpture.
This exhibition will be going on until November 4th. I really enjoyed seeing all the art. Back to you, Gavin.
Thanks, Kate. The pandemic has affected us all, and this semester has started to look like the normal we were used to pre-pandemic. But for many people, the transition back to full in-person learning has not been easy.
With campus fully opened back up for in-person classes, students are settling into the semester with busy schedules.
I remember like freshman year COVID times, everything was online. It was just so easy to like get up, attend your class in bed and everything. And it's like, it takes a little more motivation to get up in the morning and be like, oh, I got to make the trek to campus and everything. And so I think that, along with the idea of like being surrounded by all these people, is kind of anxiety-inducing in some ways.
Students are also feeling the pressure to put more time into studying.
There's no more online open tests, whereas it's more in-person closed notes, so I have to devote more time to studying rather than just kind of opening up my laptop at home and just figuring it out then. But when I do put in more effort and more work, my grades do tend to be better.
In-person classes have made communication easier for students.
Although being surrounded by people is kind of anxiety-inducing, I would say having classmates is such a big positive, because now you get to actually like sit and connect with people, and it's easier to like reach out if you need help or anything, or like make study groups, and I think that's been really beneficial to like my studying habits.
For these students, self-care and perspective have made it easier.
Just having the positive outlook that I do want to be back in person and I want to be on campus in order to keep up with being a good student.
Listening to your favorite music during the day, you know, just like little things to ensure some like stability and like self-care and everything, and just like relaxing and all this hustle and bustle.
Getting back into the groove of in-person classes has been hard for a lot of us, but it's encouraging to see that we're not alone in this adjustment. I know that I've definitely had a hard time studying for those in-person exams coming back from COVID.
Yeah, it's honestly taken up all of my time. So.
Well, Rams, that's all the news we have for you tonight.
But stick around, because Leah Cackowski is up next to tell you all about the man, the myth, the legend, Aaron Judge. We'll be right back.
I'm Jenny Garth, and as a mother of 3, I know kids worry about a lot of things. Getting enough food to eat shouldn't be one of them. But here in America, that is a real worry for 1 in 5 children. Even though we are one of the most food-rich countries in the world, 15 million children don't know where their next meal is coming from. This is unacceptable, and something the Feeding America nationwide network of food banks is working to solve. Instead of accepting that our country lets billions of pounds of surplus food go to waste every year, Feeding America has made it their mission to help families in need by rescuing this food. Through food pantries and meal programs, the nationwide network of food banks provides more than 3 billion meals, serving virtually every community in the United States, including yours. Join me in supporting Feeding America and your local food bank by visiting feedingamerica.org. Together we can solve hunger. Together, we're Feeding America.
How's it going, Rams? I'm Leah Cackowski, and welcome back to yet another week here on CAC's Closeout. I am particularly excited for tonight's show for multiple reasons. To start, I'll give a brief rundown of today's soccer matchup against Boise State, plus a live update on volleyball's contest with rival Air Force down in Colorado Springs. And finally, I get to talk about my favorite sports team, the New York Yankees, as Aaron Judge chases history to reach the American League all-time home run record. All of that and more on CAC's Closeout, which starts right now. To kick things off tonight, Colorado State Rams soccer faced off against Boise State this afternoon here on campus. Like we've been following all semester, these girls have had some competitive stretches thus far, most ending in a draw though. But let's see if today's matchup turned out a little different and better result for the Rams. Unfortunately, you guessed it, today ended in another tie against the Broncos with a final score of 0-0. That brings Colorado State to its 4th tie and the Broncos to its 6th tie. Some stats for today: Colorado State had 6 shots in total with 2 on goal, and Boise State with 8 shots in total and 4 on goal. The biggest difference tonight though was fouls, with Boise State having 9 and Colorado State only having 3. Regardless, now that we're in the Mountain West half of the schedule, every game counts. And I think Coach Keely Hagan's squad has a legitimate shot to capture that top spot in the standings come late October. And soccer wasn't the only sport competing today. CSU Volleyball traveled down I-25 to battle in-state foe Air Force. And that one actually tipped off about an hour and a half ago. So let's see how the Rams are currently faring. So Colorado State is up 2-0 as of right now. They won the first set 25-18 and the second set 25-20. The Rams are currently up 18-11 in the third, and some star players tonight has been Kennedy Stanford with 11 kills and setter Sierra Pritchard with 31 assists and 3 aces. Either way, CSU has dealt with challenges on the road in the past and will be back in Moby in no time. Speaking of Moby, we're just a little under 2 months away from the Mountain West tournament, signifying more the importance of every conference matchup going forward. And now, the main event. Yes, the part I have been waiting for. Yesterday evening in Toronto, history was made, and New York Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge was the center of it all. With no outs, in a tie ball game and runner on, Judge laced a bullet to the Blue Jays bullpen in left center for his 61st home run on the year, tying Roger Maris for the all-time home run record in the American League. The long ball caps off a memorable season for the Yank slugger and even proved to be the decider in a victory over the Jays. Yankee fan or hater, this is a big deal, and for a lot of reasons. Let me explain. To give you some background, legendary Babe Ruth set the home run record back in 1927, which wasn't cracked until 1961 by Maris, and hasn't been touched since last night. And sure, I can talk about the steroid stretch in the 90s and early 2000s, where all of those fraud power hitters from the National League got busted for drug use, including Barry Bonds in his whopping 73 at 36 years old. I mean, come on, give me a break. But for Maris in the American League, his number now holds alongside Aaron Judge, and there wasn't much competition prior. Aaron Judge has been an icon for Yanks fans ever since his rookie campaign back in 2017. And sure, he's yet to claim a World Series ring in his time in the Bronx Bombers, mainly because of several shortcomings in the postseason to the cheating Astros. But that doesn't define his ridiculous success as an athlete, leading the AL in literally every hitting category. That's Triple Crown material, a rare and incredible feat. If that doesn't scream MVP, I don't know what does. And maybe I'm a little sour since trash can practitioner Jose Altuve robbed him back in 2017. Thanks to Judge, Yankees have had a spectacular season, coming off one of the best first few months this organization has ever seen. They secured the AL East Division title, outlasting the aforementioned second-place Blue Jays by 8 games. The Pinstripes will get a bye of the first round of the revamped MLB playoffs, while having a 100-plus Houston team looming at their doorstep. But I'm not worried. With a healthy Yanks team, there's little chance to stopping them. Overall, 2022 has just been an extremely exciting year for the world of baseball. No COVID lockdowns, cheating World Series winners, well, as we're aware, or MLB lockouts disturbed America's pastime. It's made for a pretty eventful season. And despite Judge, record books were already shattered when St. Louis Cardinals legend Albert Pujols knocked his 700th career home run a week ago, becoming only the 4th player to ever reach that total. Regardless, Aaron Judge has already made history getting to 61, but there's still time for him to claim the all-time record, rightfully at 62. The MLB season concludes next Wednesday, so fingers crossed he can get it done. And with that, Rams, that is all the sports action I have for you tonight here on CAC's Closeout. Be sure to tune in on Tuesday for another edition of Tuesday Night Sports. Stay safe, have a wonderful weekend, and go Yankees!